I have one more question.
No, thank you. Next.
Okay.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Ha'atu, I love you.
Ha'atu.
Bashar, I come with a friend. Her name is Lisa.
Speak up.
I come with a friend. Her name is Lisa.
Yes.
And she was born with a kidney disease, which retained all the water and her body swell. So she understands she has a negative belief system. So she thought that she was bound by this genetic disease, and also that her parent has it and some of her children has it. And she's asking, can you help her to break through her negative belief so that she can heal her body?
Not without communicating with her privately directly.
So she should book a private session with you?
If possible. But the idea is that there are others who can help her with this beyond us. Ask her spirit guides for assistance with this idea, since we are not really allowed to interact directly with you with regard to health issues.
Okay, thank you. So my second question, Lisa and I are going to Skinwalker Ranch after this gathering.
Are you sure you want to?
Yes, 100%.
All right.
And we know that there is a ship under the Mesa.
Yes,
in
there
the
is.
Skinwalker
A very
Ranch.
ancient one.
Yes. Is any tips or any things you can suggest us to make our physical contact more probable?
No, not at this time. Just go and see what happens.
Okay.
Because it will depend upon your energy as to what opens up in that area for you. Because there are portals in that area. And your energy and your vibration will align with whatever needs to happen for you. But yes, there is an ancient ship buried in the Mesa. It is still active and still giving off vibrations that help stabilize the portals in the area.
So we intended to do a meditation on the Skinwalker Ranch. Is any suggestion that you will suggest us to do? Which kind of meditation?
No, I just said go and see what kind of energy you bring. The intention you have going in will determine what opens for you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm from Canada. So, yeah. Hey. So the question we have, I have two spiritual teachers, big prediction, telling us that Trump will win and we are going to migrate to moon, migrate to Mars. I have a spiritual teacher, another side told me, Camilla's going to win and with the open contact and we're going a better earth. So I'm very happy because no matter who wins, I will have a better world. So my question to you is, how does the upcoming election impact especially the humanity and especially Canada?
One moment. We are checking something. Because generally speaking, we are not really allowed to comment deeply on your politics. But since things are changing somewhat in the near future, we are checking to see what we are allowed to say. I cannot give you specifics about the country of Canada. I am allowed to give you some very general specifics about the election in the United States. However, there must be caveats with this, since we are normally not allowed to comment on such things. There are certain things we can say, but if we say them, because it is your world, are you willing to take responsibility for the responses of your population to what we are about to say? And before you answer, think carefully about what that means. Are you willing to take responsibility for what we are about to say? be sure the answer is yes.
Yes.
All right. This is what we are allowed to say. The female will lead to open contact. Do I need to say more?
No.
Are you willing to take responsibility for the information?
Yes.
The male will lead to the termination of the United States and World War III. End of comment.
Okay, my last question, Bashar. Is this okay or I should go? Okay, so my last question. When you're talking about the 5 years, within 5 years, having open contact, and what are we preparing to do? So in my mind, actually, I've been willing to hopefully set up a center, training center for my hyper children, as I have many of them, to teach them.
Then follow your passion and see what happens.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you.
Understand that what we have been allowed to do here today is highly unusual and only indicative of the fact that you are closer to contact than you were before. One moment. Open your hearts, open your eyes, open your minds, and you will know the path before you that is toward us. This has been a public service announcement. You will not know who that was until later. But we have introduced them already last night of your time. Next.
Greetings, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Such a pleasure and amazing to be here with you today after feeling like I've been calibrating with you for a long time.
All right, it is our passion and our pleasure as well.
Thank you.
What would you like to discuss?
So I've been, throughout my years, visited many times, seen and been visited by different crafts, but there hasn't been a pattern. Each one seems to be very unique in its lights and colors. My question is, can you tell me maybe which race I'm more connected with, or my energy is more dominant with?
Well, you are connected to Pleiadians and hybrids. There's a few smatterings of others as well.
Syrians?
Some, yes.
Okay, so that was the first question. Is there one that I could maybe potentially connect with more on a deeper level that you feel?
If you will participate in what we talked about that you call CE5s, you understand this term?
No.
Going out with groups to certain areas and opening up communication, shining lights, and getting answers from ships that will appear and give you responses and things like that. That is the idea of close encounters of the fifth kind, CE5s. If you will participate in gatherings or create your own gatherings to do so, this can help open up avenues of communication and connection for you to those to whom you are most strongly connected.
Thank you. I'll definitely try that out.
All right.
And another question is going to be more personal to me. I think the easiest way to frame this would be a three-part question.
Is that a sneaky way of asking three questions?
No, it's one concept, but with three different elements that are all connected. This has been a deep fear of mine for a long time. The first one is snakes.
Snakes.
Snakes. Since I was a child, I've had sort of like a primal fear of them. In many ways, I feel like I was harmed by them.
No, but the idea is that it connects to the symbol of ancient wisdom and it connects to the symbol of genetic alteration because you're part of the hybrid program. And it connects to certain species that give off a certain frequency and a certain energy that allows you to feel that you need to go into survival mode when exposed to it.
So this leads to the reptilians, which I would like to have more perspective from you on, because it ignites fear within me.
I understand. They're not necessarily malicious, but they don't necessarily have, shall we say, humanity's best interests as their highest agenda, but they are kept in check by the other species that do. So they will not ultimately be capable of slowing you down or harming you. It's just that they're on another path, on another course, and they're not really engaged in the idea of the promotion of the evolution of humanity. So any exposure to them simply invokes within the physical form the idea of a fight or flight survival response, because the reptilian vibrational DNA activates the mammalian vibrational DNA in your physical body as the relationship of predator to prey.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they're actually going to be predators for you, but that's the way you respond to their vibration. To some degree, they actually are, well, I'll just put it this way. They're kind of hurt by that.
They are hurt?
They are hurt emotionally by that, by your reaction to them, and therefore they have a kind of resentment against humanity.
Oh.
Because they are seen by humanity's eyes as outcasts. And therefore, they remain in a place where they may not necessarily have your best interests at heart, but the others that do keep them in check and help keep them balanced and at bay, so that they will not interfere with the progression of humanity's evolution. But there is nothing really to fear. They cannot harm you.
A lot of people seem to think that they're connected to the royal lineages on Earth, and they seem to control...
No. That's a fallacy. It is a fantasy. It is a throwback to the idea of the ancient Anunnaki, who did create the idea of the blue blood royal bloodlines. That is simply another way of expressing that the Anunnaki DNA may be slightly more pure in certain lineages on Earth. That's what that's about. But some humans that are involved in conspiracy theories have confused and commingled various conspiracy ideas into the idea that the reptilians are involved in that, simply because of their attitude toward humanity that you are intuitively picking up on. So they've commingled different conspiracy theories, which is one of the reasons why the first step in the Interstellar Alliance social experiment was to let go of conspiracy theories.
So if the Anunnaki are our parents, or don't we have their genetic...
Yes.
Aren't we a hybrid of Anunnaki and
As
the
I said,
Sasquatch?
you are hybrids to begin with as Homo sapiens. That's why you're already hybridized, because of the Anunnaki genetics that were introduced into the naturally evolved hominid on Earth.
But wouldn't then the Anunnaki come and guide us?
They did. What do you think some of the stories in the Bible are about?
Okay.
of angels coming down to guide you, of being led through the desert by a pillar of fire and a pillar of cloud. What do you think that's about? It's about the guidance of the Anunnaki who recalled those who created Homo sapiens because that was against their law to do so. But they then realized that they had to take responsibility for guiding you up to a certain point until they felt that they could let you sort of evolve on your own to see what would happen.
Do you think that though they will return after
They have evolved in a certain way that they are no longer the Anunnaki you knew hundreds of thousands of years ago. Some of them have evolved into what you will now experience as the Pleiadians.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful, and I needed that.
All right.
On a separate note, something.
Oh, another question you've snuck in.
Well, if it's only one more, then I will curb it to. Everyone seems to be talking about the solar flares and how that activates.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
I won't worry about it.
Thank you.
I'll just ask the last one.
Sorry, your card has been punched.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I am nervous. I almost chickened out and didn't come up here, but here I am.
All right, here you are.
Here I am. Last night during the meditation, it came to me that to ask you that are we all just dreaming each other, meaning humans dreaming the other races and the races dreaming us in this grand big story?
Would you repeat that?
Yes. The other races that will be coming to us,
Yes.
are they not dreaming us and we dreaming them in one great big dream?
Yes, of course. From that level, of course. It's
So-
all a dream.
May I ask, when does a dream become reality, or does it ever, and when does reality become a dream, or are they two very separate things?
It depends on what you mean by dream. It depends on what level you're looking at it from. Obviously, there is all that is, what you call the source, the one. In a sense, everything is a dream of the one, but the dreams of the one are what reality is. That's what you call reality, the dreams of the one. The infinite dreams of all that is what you experience as aspects and reflections of the one as reality. Does that make sense?
I need to think about that, but yeah, I think you did answer my question. Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, passion.
Yes?
I have this idea that passion feels joyous and great and exciting, and that hasn't been my experience.
It doesn't have to. Sometimes passion can be a perfectly balanced sense of peace and relaxation. When we talk about the idea of passion, that doesn't mean, as we say, you have to be jumping up and down and running around with your hair on fire. It means you are simply in alignment and in the flow of who you truly are. And that can be expressed in any number of ways, as long as it allows you to feel that you are yourself. That's what we really mean by passion. Passion is the body's physical translation of communication, messages from your soul, from the higher mind. It communicates in an energy language that your body translates as this sensation called passion, which more often than not is really just about the idea of a focus of something you really love to do. And that can be expressed in any number of ways. So taking action on your passion is the response to the soul, I heard you. And it begins the dialogue so the soul can send you more opportunities to act on your passion. But no, it doesn't mean you have to be running around like crazy. It doesn't mean you have to be jumping up and down with joy every single minute. It means you simply have a sense of your flow, a sense of your purpose, a sense of who you are, and it can be done in a very effortless, straightforward, and peaceful, centered, and balanced way as well. That can be an expression of your passion. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. Last question
Yes?
is a second question from a question that was asked yesterday, the mathematician that had his friend ask the question, so he snuck in again.
Yes.
The question has to do with teleportation.
Yes.
And the question is, can you describe an experiment to see gravity and electromagnetism as related?
Yes. We have already given you that experiment. We'll describe it again briefly. It is the idea that objects that exist in a particular location are not objects in a location. The location exists in the object. Every object can be considered an energy equation. And one of the variables in that energy equation is the variable that represents its location in space-time. If you change that space-time locational variable frequency, you actually change the location of the object in space and time. That's how our ships travel from star to star, is we have isolated the ship, unlocked it from any particular universal reality in a limbo state, and then we impose the vibrational frequency that represents the frequency of the location we wish to go to, and the ship must stop existing at the first location and automatically start existing at the second location without traveling in between, because everything holographically is here and now, and all we're doing is changing the perspective, the angle of observation of the locational variable of that ship and its crew in space-time, which is an illusion. Is this making some sense?
Not to me, but hopefully to him.
All right, but this connects the idea of gravity and electromagnetism and so on and so forth. I'll put it another way. Imagine a Fibonacci spiral. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
All right. So imagine a counter Fibonacci spiral going the other way and overlapping the first one. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
Now imagine that what I'm describing is a simple two-dimensional version of something that is actually very multidimensional. So it would go in all sorts of directions, but for simplicity's sake, just imagine that double spiral, all right? Mm-hmm. There are places where then the spiral, one spiral, crosses the other spiral, correct? Mm-hmm. And it does so because it is a spiral at farther and farther and farther distances, correct?
You are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we call those nodal points, all right? Those nodal points, depending upon exactly how they cross the other spiral and how many iterations of that crossing there are, actually create the different effects you call gravity, electromagnetism, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, dark matter, dark energy, so on and so forth. It is that particular structure that can explain the relationship between all the different so-called forces that you experience in your physical universe and show the connection between them all by understanding them as different concentrations of nodal points of a fundamental concept that contains a field of consciousness. So if consciousness as a field is allowed into the equations of your quantum mechanics, you will understand more clearly the idea of the relationship of gravity to electromagnetism and so forth. Now, relatively recently, there actually has been the creation of a new mathematical equation that does allow gravity and quantum mechanics to be combined. And that is the correct direction to go in. But it still must include the understanding of how to quantify and create mathematical representations or geometric representations of the field of consciousness out of which everything is created. And once you include that into your equations, you will understand the relationship. But starting with that Fibonacci double spiral can be a skeleton upon which you can build a deeper understanding of the multidimensional nature of all of those relationships to each other. Will that help?
Somebody, yes. My brain hurts.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Bashar.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you for last night and the meditation. The visualization that you gave was super helpful to me because I have a fear of open contact. So
Why do you have a fear?
I think it's because the concept of it is relatively new to me. Like, I didn't even allow myself to think about it until a few years ago.
Well, do I scare you?
No,
Well, why not? I'm part of open contact.
no. And yeah, so it helped.
Don't rush ahead. Why don't I scare you?
I guess maybe it's because I can relate to you.
And what makes you think you can't relate to the others who will come through open contact?
Well, honestly, it's the way they look. I mean,
The
I know
way they
that's-
look.
It's scary to me.
Oh, scary. Are you afraid of animals?
No.
Don't they look very different from you?
Yes. I know.
Well,
It
why
doesn't
aren't
make
you
sense.
afraid of them?
I guess I'm used to them.
You're used to them. Do you think you can get used to us
Yes,
and then you won't be scared?
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So you understand it will not happen faster than you can handle.
Right?
Yes?
Yes.
Because what would be the point of that?
Correct.
Above and beyond all, open contact is logical. We understand what you can handle. We understand that it makes no sense to give you more than you can handle. The process is in your hands. We're taking our cue from you and the pace you say you can handle. We're not forcing anything on you at all. So even though we gave you that exercise, the fact that it is just an exercise is what allows you to decide at what rate, at what pace you can handle it. One moment. Nania. The channel's body needs hydration. Thank you, Nania. Oh, yes, thank you. I'm fine. Would you like to continue?
I would, yes, thank you. Okay, so my question.
Did that freak you out?
No. It didn't. Oh my gosh, okay. So my question is, okay, so when you talk about the shifting to the new earth, and those that follow the formula and have broadened their bandwidth, have the opportunity to make that shift.
But you're shifting now.
Yes. But this is my question. So it feels similar to the story of the second coming of Christ in the Bible.
Yes, well, the idea of the second coming is actually the awakening of the Christ consciousness in every single individual.
Okay.
It's not about the coming of a single person.
Okay.
It's about the same thing as opening up to the Buddha nature, the Krishna spirit. Same idea. It's allowing you to be who you truly are as a full soul.
Great. Okay, that's good. So that's what I was thinking too, so I appreciate that.
Oh, all right. Thank you for your synchronicity.
Sure. And then I just want another quick question so other people have a chance, but why do humans experience time in a linear fashion?
Because that's what allows you to experience growth, discovery, and change. In a timeless state, there's no change, there's no growth.
Okay.
So it's the way in which existence allows you to experience the process of change, so you have a deep appreciation that allows you to learn lessons and discover something new, because the structure of existence never changes. It's your relationship to it, your experience of it, and your perspective of it that does change, and that's how creation expands. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome.